Boom! Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As you'll see in my description here, or my title, this evening we'll be discussing lifestyles of the rich and flying. Or some would call it rich and crashing.
Oh, man. That wasn't a thing till Crump.
Yeah, so you know what? I never asked, when did your two consecutive plane crashes occur? No, when did your plane crashes occur?
The last one was May 9th, 2010. I know that because it's my dad's birthday. The one before that was probably 4 years before that.
So May 9th of 2010, and you said 4 years before that?
Yeah.
Right.
I probably could look it up in the NTSB database.
That's crazy. I just didn't know how recent they were. All right, let's see. Okay, we are officially live. Beautiful. Okay. Rich, we have you here all the time, but why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? We've gotten a lot of new subs, and I know not everybody knows who you are. And
do you? Let's see.
I have a feeling that there are people that don't know about your other channels either. So, yeah, go ahead.
So, my channel is youtube.com/flyingrich, and I've started a new channel, Flying Rich Vehicles. Why? Because you can't make money with the pew-pews on YouTube.
It's all about money with you guys. I'm just kidding.
So, other than pew-pew stuff, I actually worked at a Porsche repair shop in an automotive machine shop for a guy who was an airframe power plant mechanic and a pilot and a plane owner.
Really?
So I've done everything from, rebuilding turbochargers, engines, transmissions, differentials, to machining cylinder head blocks, boring, cylinder heads, boring blocks, you name it, I've done it.
Wow. So you spent a lot of time with trainees.
Hands-on, all hands-on. I'll tell you what, as kind of a scientific guy, or somebody that's a scientific, science-minded, I always appreciated engine mechanics or engine performance, because it was all applied physics. If I lighten the mass of the pistons and the connecting rods, instead of that energy changing into heat, it changes into crankshaft energy. Just those kinds of things.
Now, did you always lighten the rods of the trainees? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will be serious.
Wow. Hold on. If I pull this into view, you might get demonetized. Aha! Fooled you.
That's funny. I got my what is it? What's the yellow one? DeWalt. I got my DeWalt.
There.
That DeWalt has seen.
And I thought rigid was a real man's tool, but apparently it's just like house brand at Home Despot.
Home Despot, like despotism.
Yes.
Is it truly the bane of your existence?
Well, interestingly enough, I know you think about these types of things. My house in New York, but almost behind my property, was an 84 lumber. And I would have to drive by the 84 lumber to go a few miles further away to go to Home Depot. And if I went to the 84 lumber, because I hated going to Home Depot, but somehow I always went to Home Depot. If I walked into 84 lumber, somebody greeted me at the door. They walked me over to the shelf where the items were. They explained the differences between the items, and I told them what I wanted to do, and he knew exactly how to do it. And he'd take the item, I wouldn't even have to touch it. He'd bring it back to the register, and I'd just pay for it. But somehow I hated Home Depot, and I believe advertising doesn't work on me. And I'd go to Home Depot instead, and 84 lumber closed.
Wow. Yeah, I think we had one out here for a while, but it closed. So, no, actually, you know what? Tart. We had a Tart. T-A-R-T.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So some of the things that you've been up to lately, you have officially ventured down a project with a bullpup.
I don't know if you can say that word. All right, this is plastic. Here's some plastic.
This is just an accessory. If there are any mods looking, this is just a piece of plastic that is an accessory.
Plastic.
Yeah. So tell me about that. Was from what, Control Pew?
Yeah. So Control Pew, I got Hank kindly worked me into Control Pew's beta program on basically it's a G34, and I'll say PS90 style firearm.
Armitage will like that a great deal. Actually, Armitage is in the chat. What's up, brother?
Oh, S2000. I don't have. I wish I had an S2000. Who was it had a blowout on them? They must have bought a pallet of them or were blowing them out, and I just didn't pull the trigger. I feel.
Are we talking about the
FNS 2000?
Oh, FNS 2000. Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about the WA 2000 or whatever it is, the Walther sniper rifle.
Oh, is that it? No,
Maybe
he
somebody
says
else.
I got it the same day I got the first P90. I mean, I have a PS90.
Oh, I see. The S2000.
Ooh, I didn't realize I have something very evil. 308 PS90 style evil over there. Made in Cocoa Beach.
P90 style 308?
Well, it's that style firearm. Because if you say the BP together, somebody gets upset.
Oh, you can say bullpup. I don't care. On my stream,
you think so?
And well, if I get the yellow sign, then it is what it is. As long as I know that I'm with you and I had fun.
I didn't even have the bolts in this, and I was like holding it, and the pieces were like flopping around and falling apart and sliding off, and the thing was sliding off, and
the shoulder thing.
I uploaded the stream. This is something I recorded and I uploaded, and like 6-8 hours later, I remember like, oh yeah, let me make that live, and it says this video has been removed. Blah 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 blah. All I did was upload it.
Yeah.
A recording.
Oh, hold on. That was a recording?
Well, I did one live stream, and then they pulled that.
That's right.
And then
we were talking about we were talking about like Cody and some other folks. Print, shoot, repeat during that stream. We were talking about Cody Wilson and stuff. Yeah.
And I was holding the parts like, ooh, this is how to look. Like here's another piece of the plastic. Okay. And so if you picture this with a G34 rail on it, and all right, see, this is the part you could get in trouble for.
No, don't even do it.
Don't even do it?
Because the slide is
Can I show the comp?
Yeah. Just keep it like that drill bit right there.
Yeah.
Because that was what got 28EDU knocked off, was literally just the slide. So, and I think the moment I was watching you live, the moment that you got shut down, and I think it was when it was laying down, with the slide laying down, looking like it was. I mean, it looked like it was, moderately, for somebody that doesn't know anything about
the slide isn't built. There's no part. I mean, I've got the rail. Look, the pin is hanging off here. The rail isn't even in place. The locking block is just pushed in. The rear rail, actually, that is pinned, but there's no.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's unfortunately, it's not about what it is. It's about what it looks like. and they take that to the extreme. It is over enforced. But like when we were flying under the radar, when we had like, oh god. So actually, let's hit that real quick. It's just the tip. Come on, baby. So Thirsty Colt says, "Boys, I tested positive for the karate cold. I trust y'all will be attending my funeral.
Yeah, I've had it. Big deal.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. As long as you haven't been like sucking on like toe fungus and stuff like that, you
But
should be okay."
I got the coof from my super hot personal trainer.
Nice. I
Dude,
mean, if there's a way to do it, that's it, man.
yeah, I'm like, she probably put her hand on my back. She's like, "All right, bring those shoulder blades in," and that was probably what did it.
Yeah. Oh man, the dips. They know it's not a gun. They just love to fuck with us. Yeah, I believe that's the case.
Do you know I don't own a 1911?
I don't either.
Wow, I thought I was the only one. And I've, other than the parts over here, my wife does. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
My wife has a Glock 43,
Nice.
but she's never fired it.
What?
All right, so here's how it works. Let's see. My neighbor had like a Glock 43 and a P365, and I showed her. I'm like, "You want to get the P365, not the Glock 43. 10+1 versus what is it? 7+1, 6+1, whatever." Go over to Babyface P's house, and he's got both, and I'm showing her them, and she's still liking the Glock 43. You know, she's holding it and blah, blah. I think we even went to the range and shot them both. So I go to the gun show, and I actually see a friend there selling a Glock 43 he had that he never shot.
Oh, wow.
So I got like the gun, the holster, you know, all that. I think a couple extra bags for a really good deal. And I saw a P365, but it was the SAS. And I didn't know what the SAS was at that time, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. It sounds cool. I'll buy it. But unless I'm wearing my reading glasses, I can't use the SAS because it has the Meprolite sight.
That's right.
So it's got the there's no sight on the top of the slide. It's got like a ring. It's got a ring and a dot in it. And then, and my wife, all right, so anyhow, I come home and I pull out the SIG. I'm like, "Oh, this is the gun I got." She's like, "Oh, I want one of those." I didn't even open the box with her Glock 43. I'm like, "What do you mean you want that gun?" She's like, "Yeah, I want that. That's nice. I like that." I'm like, "I've showed you 4 of these next to Glock 43s, and you insisted you wanted the Glock." So she got that, and then I ended up getting a regular SIG P365. I think some come with safeties, but I don't like a carry gun with a safety. That's just, again, everybody has their own philosophy. That's my philosophy.
And I think yours is the correct philosophy. Now I will carry a firearm with a safety, but my preference is to fire one that the safety is between my ears. You know,
because realistically, now, not that I know a lot about being in a life or death situation, I'm, but
excluding plane crashes.
Yeah, you want. There's a couple otherwise, yes. You want to be able to, in my philosophy, I'm not trying to convince anyone. You have your own opinion. Good for you. Do what's right. Here's what I tell her when people ask me, like, "Oh, what gun should I get?" And I'm like, "You should get the right one for you." Yeah. I'm like, "I like this. I have this." I'm like, "Come over to my house. We'll go through my safe, and try them out, see how they feel. If you can work it, but you get the one that's right for you."
Yep.
Because I like because I carry a SIG P365 doesn't mean that's the right one for you.
Yeah.
And same thing with my philosophy of use. I carry one in the chamber, safety off, and
Yeah.
that's my philosophy.
I'm the same way. I'm a Glock dude. I mean, I carry Glocks, right? So like, typically, I used to just carry a 17. Then I carried a 19, carried a 34. I even carried a 17L for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I carried the Man on Fire Glock, which actually if you watch the movie Man on Fire, hold on, Man on Fire, was that the Denzel one? Because there was two. There was one with Vin Diesel. Which one was it Man on Fire with Denzel Washington?
Oh,
You
I
know
don't
what
know.
I'm talking about?
I never even saw Man on Fire.
Oh God, man, you have to.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, Man on Fire. Man on Fire is probably one of the best Denzel movies ever. Anyway, if you look closely, a lot of the action scenes when he is using the firearm, it's a 17L. When he
Okay.
is just carrying, holding, or brandishing the firearm, it's a Glock 34. So I think it
Okay.
was one of those like one was just a dummy gun and one was
Okay. Yeah.
a blank firing gun. So if people ask like which firearm did he carry in that movie, both answers are correct. But anyway, so I ended up sticking to the 19. Then I carried the 26 for a while, but I carried it with a +2 extension, which is the same exact size of a 19 grip. So then I went back to the 19, and then my buddy was like, "Oh, dude, I got a 43X, and it sucks. Everything about it sucks. I don't like it. Mag compatibility isn't there, and the recoil is just more than I want, and my 43X is dog shit. Take it."
There's recoil on 9mm.
Apparently he thinks so. So I got it for $375, and it was the stainless. It's PVD finish, but it's a stainless slide. Here, I'll show you. Just kidding. Yeah, so it's the.
Do you know how often I want to just? Oh, hey, let me show you.
That's why I. Oh, nice. I see CW G24. G24 is the 17L in 40 cal or 357 SIG. Version of 17L full size, but I can carry it. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I like carrying duty guns, honestly.
So more important, who drinks tequila out there?
Nobody drinks Kirkland tequila.
I'm actually not drinking the Kirkland, or at least I don't think I am. No, I'm not.
Is that the Patron?
Yeah. I forgot I did that video. Yeah.
Glock 23, 27, or 33. Okay, so too many choices. You're gonna get very upset when you see my Glock video come out. Okay, because
me personally.
Oh no, too many choices.
Okay.
Armitage, it's great to have you here, brother. Glad you're here. We missed you, and we all love you. We all love you.
Some of us do.
Yeah. I only drink tequila with pickle juice. Blah.
Woo.
So in this Glock video, it's a response to CRS's video about him not liking Glocks, and it's super late because I made the video right after he shot it, but I just didn't do anything with it. I didn't edit it, didn't do anything. But it's
shelf life, buddy. Shelf life. Expiration date.
I know it. But
so
it's still like it's great. It has and yes, I'm calling my own content great. It's comedy, it's satire, it's also good, solid information. So yeah, I mean, I think y'all love it, but I make jokes in there specifically about 40 cals because the most in the world, the most adopted handgun in law enforcement is the Glock 22 40 caliber.
Really?
And it is. And when I am talking about Glocks and how it's one of the most widely adopted pistol in law enforcement there is, I happen to have a G17 in my hands, and I'm talking about how it's the most bizarre thing that, the Glock 17s that were issued were actually broken and then re-stamped with a 22 or a 23, and they were chambered in this really odd intermediate caliber that was just anemic and didn't really work out. So, just broken Glock 17s. Yeah, it's you're gonna love it, promise. But no, I
Because
am a Glock
my
guy.
last comedic video only got 115 views.
Oh man, yeah, it's tough. The 43X and 48 are the only Glocks I've ever liked. The 43X, when I first got it, I was like, man, this sucks because it you know, doesn't have mag compatibility with all my other, 9.5 Glocks. And, it,
All right. Can I hit on something Thirsty Cult said? He says CRS is pretty childish when it comes to which guns he hates. The question is that entertainment or is it reality?
so I would say he's using his reality and his perception as his viewers' entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But he does truly, genuinely believe that. He really does not like Glocks, but it's the concept to him that, so in his mind, he's not really, well, he's not typically a builder. What's up, Lysurgis? Good to see you here. I've never been able to shoot Glocks well. I carried one for years. Tens of thousands of reps to dry fire, several classes, thousands of rounds in practice. Still terrible with it. Honestly, a lot of times it's the grip angle. If your hands do not fit the grip angle, it sucks, and you will hate it, and you will not shoot it well. And even I fall into that category. And if I go pick up a Smith & Wesson M&P, I will literally nail the bullseye every single time. But I am not going to trade in all my Glocks, all my gear, all my holsters, everything I got, just for a bunch of Smith & Wesson M&Ps. Plus, they don't have the longevity that Glocks do anyway.
Well, I don't know. There's a couple of things. One, I hate doing what everybody else is doing. So in the 80s, if you wanted to go fast, cheap parts were like
Cocaine.
a Chevy 350. You get a Chevy 350 cam for nothing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about cocaine. Sorry. Yep.
And hey, Rich, shouldn't you be asleep by now? Isn't it past your bedtime?
Yeah, it may be but I wonder what he's talking about, though. That's so odd. Maybe while Flying Rich talks, you could fill us in, BWE. Sorry, go ahead.
Not another one. What he's trying to do is infect this show with what he infected Hank's show with.
Yep.
That's his evil plan.
And Hoff, you have my complete permission. Don't go too crazy. But he said very soon. Very soon.
So,
okay,
and Joe Duffy has it right here. I got my first long gun I bought was a Mini 14, but it was, folding, telescoping. It was in the ATI stock. Of course, I'd like the A-Team stainless steel one, but
of course,
that's like on my, convenient, opportunistic buy list.
So there is an aftermarket one I can point you to. So remind me to chat with you about that. And it's all USA made, and it's under $300.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to get an AR-15 like everybody else. I had an AR-15, and I'm not John Crump. I don't have hundreds of AR-15s. I have some number of AR-15s.
Mm-hmm.
Very likely my family could dual wield AR-15s.
Yeah.
Or AR-10s or some caliber variant.
Or AKs or something.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
because you gotta be able to eat what you're getting fed, and there's two things you might get fed, and you got to be able to eat both.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is that if you cannot, with your firearm, because I believe in the armory concept, right? Like being able to swap parts, fix guns with other guns if needed, and switch guns, or having everybody be familiar with the platform, like
Mm-hmm.
Glocks, for an example, ARs, AKs. Um, if you cannot, with your current armory, build a homeless person army, then you need to keep building up in your collection.
Is that the create emotions concept?
It's just the dark concept. I want to be able to be like, hey, you want to drink a booze? Here you go. Here's this 3 mags and a carrier and a chin gun, just in case you get caught. Because cyanide is way too expensive. Just kidding. I'm totally joking. This whole channel is all satire and comedy. But I apologize. I keep interrupting you. Please.
Yeah, so basically I wasn't a particular fan of Glocks and wasn't a particular fan of ARs. Now I've got, AR-10s. I've got at least two AR-10s, I think. So one's 308, one's 6.5 Creedmoor. And I've got a number of different AR firearms. Some 9mm, some 5.56, some piston driven, some 300 blackout, some duplicates.
Nice. And
So,
when did you finally turn around and hop on the AR train?
it's funny. Crumpy and I were talking about that today. He got his first AR. He said he bought it the day before Sandy Hook and picked it up that day. The day later. And I was like, no,
Wow.
I'll be down to the shop today to pick it up. I'm not sure when I got my first AR, and I got to think about what the first AR was. Ooh, I think it was a plastic AR.
Really? You got a Palmer AR?
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I have two ARs that are the same, but I have different types. I may have two that are the same. I don't know. And whatever parts.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, whatever parts are kicking around. Who?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be obscure. I am, and I'm not. It's like, do you really know how many ARs do you have? That's kind of like BW Firearms. Does he really know how many Uzis he has? Because between all the parts on the shelf and extra parts and spare parts and stuff,
it's almost impossible to track.
Because I'm looking, I know I have at least no more than that. I probably have somewhere under 10 lowers kicking around. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Waiting to be built.
So since the Karate Cold really kicked in, I made it a point to take all my half-finished shit sitting around, all my 80%ers, all my lowers, all my slides, random barrels, and not all of them, but I'd say 90% of them, I finished them. But this is also there was an incident, and I'll get personal with you guys, okay? Because we all
don't get personal, because BW Richards here. He's going to want to know some specs.
Oh goodness, not that personal. So basically, what happened back when I was not normie, because I've been of the mindset that the world as we know it is going to collapse at some point, right? Whether it be a financial collapse or whether it be a fulfillment of goods and services and food and maybe some type of natural disaster or something. I knew something was going to happen at some point. Didn't know what specifically it may be, but I believe that something will happen that will change our lives forever, or the lives of our children. And I believe it would be in my lifetime. So I've always kind of been like of that mindset where I'm preparing always, every day. Every purchase is something that I'm preparing for. Every build is going to serve a purpose. Every backpack serves a purpose. Everything, every bit of food that I purchase, everything. So anyway, the point to this is that I still was in kind of the normie mindset of money, sustainment. And in March of 2020 was when I left my job in which I was running a couple companies, and I was paid very well, too well, I believe, and it kind of got to my head a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to leave. So we mutually parted ways, and at that point, to make sure, like it was after like 90 days or so, I was looking for the right job because I wasn't going to be picky. After like 90 days, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take like a bunch of my guns and I'm going to pawn them to a guy that I knew that I had done business with before. Now at that point, only on the purchasing side, not on the pawning or selling side. And I was like, I'm gonna pawn a bunch of my guns, take a few grand, whatever, come back, buy them back, and maybe even like flip the ones that I don't have any attachment to. So I pawned 9 guns, okay, and I mean like the CMR 30, an AR 10.5-inch AR pistol that I built, a Glock 26, 2 Gen 2 Glock 17s that I love in Glocks, a custom. This was like before I really started building, a custom built Glock 34 that was burnt bronze and titanium nitride with custom serial numbers on it. The serial number literally had OMG WTF in it. Like it was so cool. Loved it. And if you guys go to my Instagram page, Muzzles Up, MUZZLESUP, you'll see it. I think it's on a different lower, but you'll see the upper at least. But anyway, pawned a bunch of shit. My only long distance gun, a Remington 700 and 300 blackout with a Nikon, some Nikon glass on it.
Why do you go 300 blackout on a Remington 700? That seems like an odd choice.
It was badass, dude. It was so freaking awesome. I mean, you could take it out to 800 to 1,000 yards with supers, and it was cool. I loved it, and took it out hunting. 300 blackout will, no matter what, whether you're pumping it through an AR or out of a bolt gun, it's the same thing that like CZ, Ruger, and some other companies offer bolt guns in 7.62 by 39. It's the same thing. It's a badass 30 cal round that will drop some shit that has a lot of energy behind it. So anyway, I pawn all these guns, okay? And the guy calls me. I missed one payment. And aside from that, never missed a payment before. But I talked to him though, and I was like, I'm gonna come next week with all the money, including the payment that I missed, and I'm gonna buy everything back. So go to the shop, it's closed, literally locked, sign on the door saying closed, and I end up calling the guy, no answer, call the guy, no answer, call the guy, picks up, he says, oh, I sold the store.
Whoa.
I sold the entire pawn shop. I was like, okay, well, how do I get my guns back? He's like, well, about that, you kind of can't. It's like, what the I literally have $3,500 like in my pocket, cash, that I came to buy them from you. He said, yeah, but you were late. You were in breach of the contract. I was like, dude, I called you and I said I'm coming to give you all the money. Wouldn't you think to tell me I'm going to sell the entire shop, including your guns?
Better do it today, because I'm selling the store tomorrow.
Dude, I mean, come on, man. And one of the guns that was included in this, and I regret this to this day, was for my 30th birthday, my wife bought me, just object loudly, was a Ruger Vaquero It was the Sheriff model with a 3.75-inch barrel with the bird's head grips. It was the Talo edition in 44 Magnum. Little tiny guy, man. And I mean, if you open that cylinder and you just bzzz, it just spins like a buzzsaw. The smoothest action in the world. It had the presidential ivory grips with the gold seal in it. Oh God, it was so beautiful. And I lost that too. So yeah, so
You,
that's my story, and that
you
is
couldn't
part of the
track down
reason
the new owner and say, hey,
they all went to auction. I literally still to this day I search the serial number of the Glock 34, like just to see if it pops up somewhere. So, but here's the lesson in this, right? Because I always look for like what's the positive side of this? Like what lesson can I learn to where I may not make mistakes in the future? I was so concerned about money, so concerned about stupid fiat currency that I one pawned things that were important to me. I always say, "Why are you being so loud?"
because I'm getting excited.
I know I'm passionate, but I guess what I'm saying is that I was focused on the wrong things, and I am now of the firm belief that if you want to grow and develop as an individual, remove as much shit out of your life that you can. Live with as little as possible. Test yourself, test your creativity, exercise discipline, and you will absolutely become a better person. And don't worry about money and all this other shit, because you'll get through things. You'll be okay.
See, that's because you have crump money, and
Yeah,
you're
right.
able to say that. Poor people like me.
Shit, I mean, you're probably doing much better now than I even was back then when I was making good money.
I don't know. Until the house in New York sells, I'm not doing good on anything. I mean, seriously, I ate pasta with garlic and butter last night. Although I did spend $13 on supermarket sushi today.
Well, it's better than gas station sushi. I'm not G4Y, but $20. Oh, I'm not GAY, but $20 is $20. Yeah. No, like your lifestyle will grow to the extent that your income does, and we tend to use income.
Dude, I remember when I was making 20 grand a year. I'm like, if I could only make 30 grand a year, if I could make 30 grand a year,
if I could only make 40, if I could only make 50. Then you get a job making 80, and then you're like, if I could only make 100, if I could only make 150, and then you're like, man, this mortgage and this, where are all these kids coming from? Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man. Which is why I truly believe in like creating a life of self-sufficiency, to where it's not about this money that has trapped us in this life of consumerism.
So I'm assuming you're running a frybrid.
Oh, what?
Your car is a frybrid?
Fuck no.
No, you're not running a frybrid?
No, it's not. I'm burning gas like a mofo.
Not a frybrid with an air starter? Because when the EMP comes, you need to get like a 1960 International pickup truck, diesel, with an air starter.
You know what I really want?
Mechanical fuel injection.
I do want something, carbureted. I would really.
No, I don't want anything carbureted, except my airplane, maybe. My first airplane had fuel injection. Can I tell you a story? One of the fun things, like I don't do too many odd things with an airplane. Like other people fly upside down, I just don't do that unless I'm in an aerobatics plane, which my plane is aerobatically stressed. But we won't go there. Because I don't have an inverted oiling system on my plane, so aerobatic planes have an inverted oiling system. So when you fly upside down, the engine still has oil pressure. But
interesting.
which my plane doesn't. But what that means is if I'm flying in my plane doing aerobatic maneuvers, not acrobatic. People do acrobatic maneuvers. I can't stand when people say that, but in airplanes you do aerobatic maneuvers. You could do 1G maneuvers and everything is okay. So what I used to do in my first plane that was fuel injected is, the 0G maneuver. So you fly the parabola, and so on your way up, and just as you start coming down, we'd float things around the cockpit. We'd have, pencils and stuff floating in the cockpit because we're doing 0G for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
And while I'd never done the 0G maneuver in a carbureted plane, my second plane was carbureted. I ended up taking somebody from the control tower at an airport I kept my plane at. And he thought he was like an Air Force badass. Like he was like an Air Force controller, and now he's civilian.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at night over the Great South Bay, and I took him for a ride. And, I did a couple of like knife edge turns, a couple like, wings or vertical tight turns. And then I'm like, hey, you cool? He was like, yeah. So then I did the 0G maneuver. So I'm over the water at night. In a carbureted plane, you do the 0G maneuver, and the carb goes 0G, and the float works on gravity, and the engine goes quiet.
Oh,
I'm like,
ooh. That sounds terrifying.
I'm like, I always thought that would happen if it was the carbureted engine. But the second you pull back on the stick and you have some G's in your life, it comes back on because the prop's still spinning.
Everyone needs a little bit of G's in their life.
So it didn't bother me one bit. I'm like, oh, I thought that would happen. I'm like, oh, and it came back just like I thought it would.
Yeah. Dude, that would be terrifying. I want to take a second to honor some folks that have been huge friends of the channel. Let me do this real quick. So, the sale ended. Dang it. Hold on, it'll still. Hold on. Come on, where you at? Here, you can keep everybody busy for a second while I do.
Yeah,
Oh, here
right.
it is. Okay.
Should I tell another story? Should I tell a text story about what I've been up to?
So before you do that, I'm gonna show this really quickly.
Because that's about 45 minutes. I mean, if you need 45 minutes to kill.
I don't need that much time. Oh. What's up, Alex? What's up, Montana? The end is near. Beware. Opie, Dirk McGirt. Too many choices. Chuck Norris. What's up, brothers? Just want to pull something up, man, because I've had a bunch of just a bunch of people that have been like awesome friends of the channel. I got my order in from JST Supply, and ooh, I'm gonna have to do a video drops because I can't do assembly and showing all the parts and stuff on stream. But I told y'all for the last like at least 2 weeks, if you go to JST Supply, the P80s are on sale, and with my discount code you can get them for $89. Well, now their sale is over, so it's $20 more. However, right now they are with a JST Supply using code DARK. They are you get $10 off and $10 off shipping, so they're $109. So right now they are $109. To show another example, if we go to
so do I need to get a code Flying Rich if the dark code expired?
Oh no, the dark code didn't expire.
Oh, it didn't expire.
They had them on sale already. Ooh. So they were on sale for $99 plus $10 shipping. So they were $109. If you use code DARK, you get $10 off for shipping and $10 off. So it was $89 for the Polymer 80 lowers. However, a lot of folks out there are trying to build a Glock 19, and I had a bunch of dudes hit me up asking like, where do I get parts? Blah blah blah. So this stripped slide for $139. It'd be $129 shipped. Glock 19, USA made. I mean, the quality. I want to whip mine out and show. That doesn't sound right. I want to take mine out and show it. Mine's the Revelation that's milled for an RMR. But dude, if you get a complete slide, like they come with sights. No other company is throwing sights on their slides. But yeah,
How much are slides to? Is that metal sights? How much?
Those
are
are not
usually
metal
about.
sights.
They're
Those
plastic.
Are just, yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah. You got a poltergeist?
That did not sound good. Something just popped.
Yep.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me make sure my house is not burning down.
Yeah, you make sure your house is not burning down. I'll keep the people entertained. So somebody was asking about a hangar drinking story. In all honesty, I don't know any pilot that drinks and flies. Can I make a vid of your feet you showed earlier? I want. Oh, dude. I don't know. Is it a creepy video of my feet? Hey, Scott, Grills and Guns, good guy, great channel. Take a check out Gorillas and Guns channel. Another guy I haven't met and I feel like I've been friends with for years. I'm dying to meet Scott. Yeah, in fact, the commercial pilots I know don't even drink and fly. Maybe I just know too many boring pilots. So like, I would take my friends and we'd fly. Like I'd rent a Cessna 172 because my plane only holds me and two other people. In Block Island has a horrible reputation that once a week somebody goes off the end of the runway, and it's a runway. It's elevated above sea level, which if you're flying around Long Island, you're used to being at sea level. I have no idea why. Doesn't seem to be anything, the site picture, whatever, coming into Block Island never really was an issue. And typically you're landing to the west because on Long Island, the airflow is typically out of the west. So you're landing to the west. I mean, there's like a cliff. I don't know. I don't know how people screw this up. But I was able to land a Cessna 172 with 4 people in it and make the first turnoff. So if you look at Google Earth Block Island, you can see where the first turnoff is. But yeah, I would go places like Block Island, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket with buddies in either my plane. So I would fly my plane to Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard. They have longer runways because I need a longer runway than a Cessna. All that being said, if you want to reuse the plane, that's the other contingency. So yeah, I would go out with my buddies, whatever holiday weekend it was, whatever it may be. They'd drink, I'd fly, and that'd be it. So yeah, I just had to be stink sober all the time. Yeah, Block Island's small. The runway isn't excessively small. It's not the smallest runway I've been into. And, here's the whole thing. If your airplane is performing 100% optimal, you could go off the shortest runway on the planet. But if you do have some sort of malfunction on takeoff, whether your engine's not producing 100%, because the way my plane was and I had it outdoors, it was actually fuel injected, but I believe I had ice that formed because of rain and prevented my throttle from going 100% open. So now on the roll, when I start the roll, I look for the engine to be at like 2200 RPMs and rising. So I know whether my engine performance is good, because I had that happen once where I only had enough throttle to like climb at 100 feet per minute, where I normally climb at sea level nearly 1,000 feet per minute. Scared the frick out of me. So if I only need 1,000 feet to take off and the runway's 9,000 feet long, I go all the way to the end of the runway, and I'll be off in 1,000 feet. But if I have a tire blow on takeoff or something like that, like you never really, you want to minimize the number of times you're doing a maximum performance takeoff. Let's put it that way. So you don't want to be in the situation where you need 1,500 feet to take off and you're on a 1,500 foot runway. You always want to avoid that situation as much as you can. Are you back with us?
I am back. Yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah. Okay.
I have absolutely no idea what that sound was. The only thing I can think that it may have been was it's because it sounded like a pop, like
Yeah, but it
an
could have been something that
electrical pop.
fell.
Okay, so
Like,
funny that you literally did that. So I have this magazine wallet with 4 AR mags and 6 Scorpion mags and 2 Glock 33 round mags. It's like the size of a briefcase, and it was sitting against my like just a box and bookshelf, kind of just sitting there. And I think that it just kind of slowly and then whack, and I think that's what the sound was. But it sounded
yeah,
like an electrical pop, and since I had
yeah.
that water damage a little
Mm-hmm,
while
mm-hmm.
back, I was like, uh-oh. So yeah, so my apologies to leave y'all there. What's up, Bacon? Sorry. So I missed all the good stuff of that story, I'm sure.
Yeah, just talking some airplane BS. And you know, the unfortunate thing is in aviation, it's all physics again. You know, they're because you think you're a better pilot, more experienced or whatever. If your headwind turns into a tailwind and you're doing a, you know, maximum performance takeoff on the minimum possible runway, I know somebody that died. I know a flight instructor that died in that situation.
Wow.
So, yeah, physics is a bitch. You want to make sure you're doing everything absolutely right. Um, you know, now with your phone, there used to be a slide rule for this to calculate, you know, your weight, your center of gravity, and the distance for your takeoff based on wind direction and speed.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd like, you know, adjust all those numbers and come up with a solution. Uh, and the FAA specifies that you do that calculation before each takeoff.
And how many pilots actually do that calculation?
I've never seen it done.
Yeah. Meaning you've also never like done it yourself either.
Yeah, you know, I'm being that I don't have any excuses that there's now a phone app for it.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna, yeah, yeah. There's apps on the phone to be able to do that now.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess there are apps for everything. There's even that little whatchamacallit, like for long range shooting. They got
Oh
that. I
yeah.
forget what it's called,
Oh,
but
there's a
it
number
gives
of
you
apps out there, but I've
not
let's
even
see.
just the app. There's that little like keychain size tool that gives you wind speed, humidity, temperature, like everything.
Is that the
Just
one
by
CRS cries about like of all the time?
yeah, yep.
I don't want my ass kicked.
No, I don't
Um,
think you're asking.
I've never met him. I don't want to badmouth him. I mean, we've talked on the phone, but that's, you know,
No, he's good people. He's
he's I'm impressed with him. You know, he's like text me. He's like, all right, I saw your video. You need to do this. Change the title. You know, change the thumbnail. I'm like, dude, thanks, man.
yeah, he knows YouTube like no other. And I've met a
Mm-hmm.
lot of great, like very talented YouTubers, and he knows his ish for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, But I just wanted to give a shout out, man, because JSD has just been awesome, man.
Oh
And
gosh, what a bunch of great guys. I let's see. Actually, for the build that I'm doing, they sent me the rails.
for
So they sent me
the
the
bullpup.
rails, the upper parts kit, the lower parts kit. So they sent me a bunch of stuff. You know, I told them the
Nice.
project I was working on, and I told them I wanted. My wife decided she didn't like the SAS P365 anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, so originally I got it. You know, I want to pull things out that I'm not supposed to show. So
Yeah.
I got a Taurus GX4 in the
Mm-hmm.
meantime, hoping she would like it. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because a slide, you know, when I was pricing them retail for P365, you know, to take her SAS and make it a normal, you know, iron sight was going to be a couple $100. It was going to be basically the cost of a GX4.
Yep.
So in the meantime, the guys at JSD, I'm like, hey, yeah, I want to get that 365 slide, like, and I need these parts also. And I'm like, what do I owe you? They're like, your money's no good here. I'm just sending it out to you. I'm like, what?
Dang.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want the stuff. I want to pay.
They want as many people as possible to have access to as much freedom as possible for as little money as possible.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
who have you ever seen selling Polymer 80 lowers for $89
No,
shipped?
nobody.
Never.
I
Like even when like you couldn't even give them away, I was buying them for $150 with a lower parts kit. So still
mm-hmm,
100, you know,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
essentially 100, right? 100, 110 because parts kits are 40 to $50. And they were then. But man, he's just a great dude. And you know, him, obviously Toxic Patch Co. So you can use code DARK on JST Supply. And just for full transparency, like I don't get shit. I get nothing from you using code DARK, code Flying Rich, which I don't think you have a
There's no
code,
flying
right?
rich code. No,
Yeah, so like I don't get anything.
I didn't even
I
get the
just
T-shirt.
asked him. I did get the T-shirt. I was stoked about that, and I got the PVC patches, which
Ooh.
stoked about that. Um, so yeah, so just for full disclosure, like I don't get anything. I don't get. He doesn't give me money. Like I get nothing for using the code. I just asked him, you know, is there a way that you could give me something, even something small, for my community because they're always building, and I'd rather have them have good quality American-made shit for a very
Mm-hmm,
low
mm-hmm.
cost. Because I was about to get another slide that was like $239 that was milled for an RMR. And you know the revelation what was with the discount code like 179 shipped, you know, and it's better quality.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
You know,
yeah,
there's companies out there. There's companies that make products in our industry, and they're not Pro 2A.
yeah,
And there's big companies out there that are not Pro 2A. I know, you know, all the stories I know, which is kind of wacky. And meanwhile, I'll tell you two companies. JSD is one of them that they're like, hey, they want to make sure everybody that wants a Pew Pew toy can have one.
mm-hmm,
And the
mm-hmm,
other company is Palmetto State Armory.
yeah.
They're like,
Nice.
I want to make sure everybody has an AR.
Do you know the story behind him keeping the costs as low as they do for most things? I'll say most things because their AKs are, though they are tracking with the market, I could never bring myself to pay $1,000 for anything that's not an Arsenal or an Ishmash or, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
Um, but have you ever heard him talk about why they keep the cost as low as they do for the AR stuff?
No.
So with the, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, basically exactly what you're explaining. The fact that they want as many people as possible to be able to have access to these AR-15s, these Glocks, like the Dagger for $299. Like what other Glock 19 is $299? You know?
That's a
Um,
parts kit. That's like
yeah,
I 3D print a grip and I need a parts kit to complete it. That's a
yeah,
dagger.
yeah. You probably end up paying more for a parts kit, like $399, honestly. Um, but he said the reason is because with the Heller decision, the words "in common use"
Mm-hmm.
terrified him, because at that point, regardless of how many ARs and AKs and Glocks and whatever were out, in the masses, like in the general populace, he said it terrified him to think that there weren't enough to qualify for, being in,
In common use.
in common use. So he said, I wanted to make the most affordable AR-15 options available, and that's why I do this. And he's like, I barely profit off of it at all. Really, what he profits off of are like the parts, the magazines, like all the other stuff. Because I purchased an upper for $199 before, a 10.5 inch upper. You know, so you can get stuff for cheap, good quality. I mean, for what it is,
Mm-hmm.
decent,
Mm-hmm.
good quality throwaway truck gun stuff. The other thing is too, I actually have a code now for Black Swan Tactical. It's code DARK for 10% off. And I don't know if it's
What?
free
I don't
shipping.
even have a
Yeah,
code
yeah. All you got to do is ask.
for Black Swan.
Um,
I mean Black Swan Tactical.
Black Schlong Tactical. The only thing is you can't use the code on my stuff. I'm just kidding. Um, Here, let me.
You gotta buy Flying Rich Squadron gear on Black Swan
Oh
Tactical.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, dude, you can buy, like, it's so cool. Like if you're in our like little like group, which by the way, the DLD patches, the regular
That's so
patches
cool.
sold out. Um,
What?
they sold out before they were even available.
What about the
Um,
glowies?
the glowies are right here. They are still available. Am I
Ooh.
screen sharing? Yeah. So the glowies are still available. They literally glow blue, which is so dope. They're just $10, and if you use code DARK, you get I think 10%
So,
off. I don't know about shipping, but it's $10.
Dark, this is for Thirsty Cult. This is up to you. I'm going to let you make the decision. Should I let him make a video of my feet?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
You're
do it.
you haven't made it in YouTube until Thirsty Cult has made a foot video of you. Matter of fact, if you can Photoshop me and Rich next to each other holding our feet up and put some music in the background, I'm game. Let's do it. um, so the other cool thing is, like, we kind of have cross viewership between like me, you, Crump,
Oh yeah.
28EDU,
Yep.
CRS,
Mm-hmm.
obviously DLD, Gorillas and Guns,
Scott.
Guns and
Yep.
Barbecue,
Yep.
the Shooting Gallery New
Oop,
England.
my buddy.
Yeah, like everybody is on here. So I mean, it's cool that kind of everybody, like, in our little group has some patches
So
here. And
we can't quite talk about. There's something going on in October, and you're going, right?
that's the plan currently. Yep.
And is Crump going to this thing in October?
It depends on which thing you're referring to. He said he's going to whichever one they want him at, and then
Oh,
whichever
but
one they want him
is
at is
is
where
he
I'm
going to
going.
the thing you're planning on going to? You don't know yet.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
You talking
Um,
about intravenous
something. Yeah,
88?
could be.
um, Maybe.
Because we're not supposed to talk about where it is or when it is anymore.
No, it's January in the Nevada desert.
Mm-hmm.
hmm So
So,
sorry, go ahead.
do you have plans on where you're staying, or?
I don't. I have made zero plans actually
Okay.
because I
They,
don't
so
know.
don't stay at the Super 8. I went super cheap. Don't do it unless you like unlicensed pharmacists. Then that is the place to be.
I don't mind them so much, you know. I
And bugs, the bugs also.
yeah, I mean bugs. It depends if they're friendly bugs, if
Dude, you got to
they're
show like the Flying Rich shirts, man.
oh, these are on my
Oh,
personal store. I don't have
oh, okay.
so I only have patches on
Oh,
uh Black Swan Tactical. So this is
it's
a
funny.
separate store.
The the AK card shirt that you have there. I
It's a
I
semi-auto key card.
I had the parallel idea. We're
Really?
actually talking about that. Yeah, wait. I was like, oh yeah, what about doing a shirt like this? You're like, oh yeah, I'm doing that.
Oh yeah. Did did you ask like specifically for the semi-auto key card or what? I can't recall. That honestly, that's what the kicker is for me. Like,
Well, I'm like,
yes,
you
it's
put
a
it
with the
if
auto
it's a
key card.
design and you put it on a T-shirt versus something that's plastic or metal or something. What about it then?
Yeah, I mean, it could be to spec, but I mean, material can get stretched and ripped, and you know, so I know that this is eventually going to uh, cause problems, and it will. It's very likely that we'll be targeted for that. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it's not like how can you say a shirt is an MG? You know?
So, so the guy that got busted for the cards. Tell me if I'm wrong. My understanding was it was like I don't want to. It was like print on a design on a card. It wasn't laser cut through with a couple of tabs. You could just break it out and then put them together.
It was etched, but it could never be broken out of it. There was one that came out eons ago that was just tabs, right? So
Okay,
there was like, a tab here, tab here, tab here, tab here, and you could literally fold it and punch it out, right?
right.
This was literally just an etching, a barely, I mean, like it was likely laser etched, but I mean, you could barely
You
feel
you mean
like
etching like something like that maybe?
I mean, it was in the etching was in, but it was clear that the design was not to be like cut out, right? If that is someone's method of manufacturing an MG, then they're a tard.
Oh,
Like,
look what I got.
oh,
Oh, I
I
gotta
can't
pull
see
it.
what that is.
Hold on.
Let me see if I can get. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it either. Ah, Walthall.
A
Nice.
challenge coin.
Oh, you gotta love the challenge coins, man. What was that from?
Actually, MW Tactical. I don't know if you know the guy. He
MW
lives halfway
Tactical.
between us.
No.
MW Tactical. Michael Woodward, something like that is his last name. Just I donated and he gave that to me.
Nice, nice. I thought you were gonna say his name was Dave, like mine.
Dave, like your name is Dave.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all right. Everybody knows.
okay.
Actually, it's funny. I went on Shooting Gallery New England, and he was like, "Hey, here we have John Crump. Da da da. We have Flying Rich. We have this person, and we have how should I introduce you? Dark or Dave?" Or I was like, either one's fine. Like it was just kind of funny. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know.
Well, you can't read that anyhow.
Is that the true
The burl.
precision?"
It's silencer code.
Oh, nice, nice.
But
Yeah, they
it's
make some good burls. Is that stainless?
yeah.
Nice, man. I didn't know they made stainless burls.
So
Um, I have to comment because some folks are talking about Afghanistani, and we mentioned discussing Afghanistani, and somebody said
do you know what Stan means?
I know it's a white person's name.
It's like land. So everything ends in a stan means, land.
Interesting. I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
So apparently can we say the T word? We can.
you
Is
could
that
say
okay?
tally whacker.
Yeah. So the Tallywhackers were unhappy that
Sorry.
the rotary wing aircraft left behind were all non-functional.
How dare we?
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. Like
And they
if
complained that
we're
they thought it was an asset, to the country, and now that they control the country, it's their asset.
was that in our agreement that we signed with a terrorist organization? Dude, like you got to be kidding me, bro. Like you get on national TV to do like the State of the Onion, right? And you say that you signed an agreement with a terrorist organization that we've been fighting for 21 years.
Look, I was unhappy when George Bush was negotiating with them.
Dude. See for a second. There you go. You're back. Um, I saw someone's shirt today. It was a hoodie, actually. It was on Hank Strange's channel, um, which I am supposed to be on Hank Strange's show tomorrow night, but
What?
I may. Yeah, I know, super exciting. But I
Who's going to be on?
may.
Who's on?
It was likely to be me, Hank, and probably Kevin Dixie,
Oh,
but
Katie?
I don't think I'm going to be able to make it,
What?
because I'd be abandoning my wife for like everything to take care of my daughter, and it would be kind of unfair.
I got
So
other things going on tomorrow, but
yeah, it sucks, man, because I like that show is really important to me. It's a great way to
oh,
share the
well, Katie's a
channel.
cool guy. I got to hang out and drink with him and smoke cigars.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. I love the dude. Like when he was on here, um, I have a clip, and I'm gonna clip it and post it. And I have probably 4 or 5 videos like right now just sitting that I'm gonna put out. And one of them is um, what a black man feels about BLM and critical race theory. And it is about a 10 to 12 minute conversation of Kevin Dixie
Oh,
talking
he's gonna
about
light that
how,
up.
oh man, he was like, it is all lies. It is literally made to brainwash
But
not only African Americans, but the white folks too. Like
oh yeah,
he
the
crushes
SJWs.
both of them. Yep. And people need to see like that way of thinking is not exclusive to, whatever political side or whatever. It is exclusive to people that are aware, that are awake, that are watching, that are paying attention, that know nefarious games when they see it. Um, hey, Dark, you think you will go to the very last Knob Creek shoot? You can also make a very, very slight detour, a trip into Nashville after, and make it a decent weekend, early weekend. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. We're seeing if, you know, we're going to make a decision on what place we're going to go around what time. Um, yeah. So, yeah, no. And guys, there's a whole other thing that we're kind of talking about, right? Because here's what I would ask. Okay, we're just sitting here, we're minding our own business, right? And let's say that all of a sudden our country became occupied, and there's, let's just say, blue helmets all over the place. What would you do? Rich, what would you do?
So, all right. People have a bug out plan. I have a bug in plan. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
It depends on the level of SHTF as to how far we go. There's always food, fuel, and water are your primary concerns. I've got to replenish some of those items. I do have various degrees of those items. You also want to be independent. Also, communication is another thing. So I don't have a ham radio. I really need to get a radio. So in
Dude,
case
I'll
there's
send you a
no
link.
internet,
It's like $20. Maybe because of pricing, there
get a
may be like
Baofeng.
25 now. Yep, Baofeng U5 7. I forgot the name now, but yeah, it's Wolverines. That's That's what I do. My point, and to really quickly, sorry, Wolverines, yes, right. But to touch on what Rich is mentioning, yes, like those primary things to sustain yourself are most important, like water, food, obviously fuel is important too, and then shelter and security. Those are like your most important things, because without water, you're not going to be able to stay alive to find food. And without water and food, shelter and security doesn't matter. And once you have water, food, and shelter, then you can focus on security, which you likely already have. Or with your security, you can procure water, food, and shelter. Even if it's like, oh my God, Toxic Patch Co., you're awesome. Even if it's procured using those tools, it's the thing with prepping, though, right? And this is the world that I was stuck in, is that like no matter how much I prep and I hoard and I stash away, it will run out. UV5R,
Yes.
thank you, Baofeng UV5R. It will run out, right? And the reality is that without being able to create these things, it's I'm basically just prolonging death in a way.
Right. Look, nuclear apocalypse, I want to see the Flash that would be gone like that.
You're too important. We got to keep you around, No, I mean, the reality is that you can't prepare for everything, but as long as...
All right, so my nuclear contingency plan is I grab my scuba tank and my weights and I hang out on the bottom of the pool.
There you go. Yeah, that's literally perfect. How much air do those tanks have?
Well, I have a 120 CFM tank and an 80 CFM tank at about, let's see, is that 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet? Yeah, unfortunately, I'm only good for a couple hours.
That's better than most people would be. Because if you can get... I think water gets affected pretty heavily, but, I from what I understand, the first 24 hours, obviously, is the worst. But the first few hours is like death, like absolute death. So if you can hide for a few hours in a safe place like that, you may be good, I don't remember exactly, but there's a bunch of informational videos on that kind of stuff. Right now, I'm not storing water, but there's a stream a mile away if needed. Opie, does the stream fluctuate throughout the year? Like in the summer or spring, do you notice that it's like depleted, or is it pretty much like defeating seasonality and running all year? Because that's one of the things that I have not nailed just based on where I live. I do not have renewable sources of water here. I have a lot of water, but it's going to run out. if I don't create. Now, I have a backup system for, catching rain, but it's also illegal in my state to catch rain because they want you on municipal water that is
What I find
littered
interesting
with
is,
lithium and aluminum runoff. What's that stuff?
yeah,
Fluoride.
the only thing that comes into my property is power and internet. That's it.
What, are you on well water?
Oh yeah,
Nice. So you're solid with water.
yeah. I've got to have electric to make the pump work.
You
But
could
I mean, if
install a hand pump.
yeah,
That'd be pretty awesome, man. If I'm ever out that way, we can make it a project. We could do it together. We could water your dragon fruit with your hand pumped water. Hell yeah. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but Flying Rich actually has like some pretty dope shit that he's growing. Why don't we talk about that really quickly? What
sure.
are you growing?
So I have about 24 species of dragon fruit, and I'm not sure how many plants, but a number of them. But we've been talking about growing. One of the things when I grew up, we had every kind of berry on my property, and I actually
Yeah.
have grapes on the fence line. They're wild grapes, but I'd love to grow, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. I've been wanting to do that, and I have an area that I think would be good for it. But I've been growing dragon fruit, and I've actually been. I'm kind of technical with how I grow, so I'll graft. I'll do different techniques of grafting. So the thorns on the dragon fruit are actually what grows branches and fruit. And if you cut the thorns out of one and put it on another that may have established root system, it'll actually grow quicker. Or maybe if you want more plants of that one species, you can cut the thorns out of the one species that you want and put it on another species that you really don't care about because you have a lot of them and they're already rooted and they'll just grow faster. So that's kind of cool. But I've actually, so the Vietnam White is the garden variety dragon fruit that everybody has. And I've been pruning mine and I've just been giving them away. So on nextdoor.com, when I had the time, I would give the people a tour and talk to them about it and explain what the do's and don'ts and all that bit on how to grow them. But last week or two, I've been, up to my eyeballs and stuff going on. So what I did is I just put a table at the end of my driveway on my property line, and I put a bunch of dragon fruit cuttings out there, and I put it on nextdoor.com, and I just put links on to YouTube channels where guys that I learned from on how to grow dragon fruit, how to graft dragon fruit, those kinds of things, and let people come by and take them.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. John Rice has a starfruit started. Nice. Yeah, dragon fruit is really high in vitamin C, and it's, from what I understand, it's pretty damn good for you. Like that could sustain you in a serious time of need while you get other. And you also have, like you said, grapes and berries and some other stuff. You had said too that you wanted to start growing something else.
I actually have a macadamia tree. I have a couple of banana plants, and I have
are they the baby
papaya.
bananas? Are they like the full-grown bananas?
I have a couple of different. I have like 3 different species of bananas.
Nice. That's awesome. I noticed I was. It's so difficult ordering seeds, and I'm going to answer a couple questions here in a sec. You got to make sure that the seeds that you are ordering are not from China. I would actually advise you to
almost all seeds you get are from China if you get them online. It's awful.
Yeah. I would advise you against from ordering online. Go to your local nurseries, especially if you have local like volunteer nurseries. Best place to get seeds, and they will walk you through exactly like what is best for your area, your climate. Like I'm going to get some cuttings from I'm probably going to get some cuttings from Rich for the dragon fruit, and at least while it's nice outside, grow them outside, and then bring them in during the winter, keep them around the 70-degree kind of mark. And But so Montana, interesting thing about the raspberries. Um, so I have a vegetable garden that's separate that's actually surprisingly doing well because I was struggling there for a bit. I was struggling to get grass started. Okay, this soil was terrible. All red clay that was dried up that looked like a literal desert. Okay. Um, but vegetables are coming in pretty well. I have cucumbers, green pepper, squash, lettuce, um, and just a bunch of other like randomness. That definitely needs to be uh, worked on. But I had strawberries that were already growing that were wild that were killed by a zero turn. I told you guys about that, and which it was so heartbreaking. But replanted strawberries, and I took cuttings from a wild raspberry bush, and all of them died. And I, from what I understand, if you let the berries die and fall, they will repropagate next year, or soon after. And just like if you let a tomato rot under the soil, like a lot of times it grows, it'll repropagate by itself, and as long in the right conditions, right? It isn't just magic, but so I was noticing that some of the berries were black, like blackberries, and some of them were small and red. And somebody recently commented on a couple of my videos, and they were like, "Dark, you don't have raspberries, you have blackberries." I was like, "Oh, maybe that's the reason that the black ones are like full size and taste good, and the little red ones are hard, sour, and they suck." But I came back basically, and one of the cuttings was alive and thriving and rooted, and it just survived that full week of like crazy intense rain. And then what we got is a leftover from the storm that recently hit New York. And it's out there, it's totally fine. um, it's in a common area, which is a little dicey. I don't know if I want to. Basically, I wanted to start it there because I kind of already worked on the soil. And I give you guys some tips on what to do with soil. Obviously, digging it up, turning it, adding topsoil is great. But if you guys throw in banana slices, even some banana peel, you'll attract worms to the area. The worms will stay in that area until they
Worms,
eat the bananas, leaves, because it'll start spreading all throughout it. They'll crawl around. They will shit an
yeah,
equivalent of their
worm
body weight out in
castings
24 hours.
are like crack to plants. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable. Like that,
yeah.
that's a big deal. I use Florinova Grow and Florinova Bloom on my dragon fruit. Now, almost any plant I've tried Florinova Grow and Florinova Bloom on, it's really good. It's super expensive stuff, but like you
Hmm.
said, the whole worm castings are phenomenal.
Yeah, game
Um,
changer.
yeah, there's a bunch of things you can do to get nutrients into the soil and get
Yeah,
some good growth.
hell yeah. Um, Detective John Kimball says, "Flying Rich, have you ever grown olali berries?"
No, no, I don't even know what they are.
I was gonna ask you, Flying Rich, if you have a birthmark on your forehead, but it turns out that it is just something on my screen right here. So disregard that. There we go. You're back to normal. Um, I love growing dope shit, says John Rice. Is that an innuendo right there? Um, Dark is growing snozberries, not raspberries. What's up, Jake the Great? Rich will pick everyone up with his plane. The code is Dark Wolverines, spelled out in blue chem lights. That's awesome. Starfruit, awesome. Seriously, has anyone ever been arrested for catching rainwater in states it's illegal? Yes, people have. There's actually some
Really?
YouTube videos. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, like, literally, this is enforcement of us being forced to be on municipal water that has been treated with
Hmm.
fluoride, which is aluminum runoff, and um, um, what do you call it? The shit people take it starts with an L. The mines are
Lithium?
full of it. Lithium. Thank you. Yeah. People started talking over the past year like they're going to treat the water with lithium, and I started looking into it. In like the year 2000, people were finding traces of lithium in the water, like over 2 decades ago.
Lithium is what they give the crazy people to keep them calm.
Yeah, yeah. It does make it's interesting that fluoride and lithium both would make the general populace more docile.
And the frog's gay.
Yep, and super gay frogs. Oh no, we just said it. Well, let's see. Oh, all right, we're still good.
Hold on, you want to see some frogs?
Sure. You have frogs.
Hold on. Let's see. He was there earlier.
Bacon in NorCal, the county tried to put a meter on a client's water collection system. It went to the court and the homeowner won. Thank God. Wow. Finding
he's
people
gone.
for waters. Tad. Do you have like skinks and stuff too?
Oh, there he is. There he is. Let's see. He is. Is it there? Yeah, he's right in the corner. Do you see him?
That's a frog?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, that is nutsack crazy.
Oh, fuck. My alarm went off.
Oh, dude, you always do that.
You guys didn't see my alarm code, did you?
The second I got to mute you, you had already turned it off. Yeah, it's 4321 backwards. Just kidding.
Well, I had to change it after Spaceballs.
Yeah, right. Most people probably haven't even seen that movie, man. Spaceballs was epic. It was an epic adventure. You guys should consider growing tobacco. It would be great for bartering. I can't grow it because my mom is trying to quit smoking, so I don't want to encourage her. It's not bad. You can really only use it though when you've dried it, cured it, and so I don't think she'd be in like cut it up and all that. So I don't think
I met somebody I was giving cuttings to, and he just bought a place out here. I live in an area called Jupiter Farms, and the minimum piece of property you can have is 1.25 acres. And he's setting up tilapia with aquaponics.
Nice. Yeah, one of the things that we had talked about on a couple other streams was, whoa, I'm super behind in comments. I'm so sorry, y'all. Yeah, I was behind by like 30 minutes. Sorry. There's a way to make a pond and make it completely self-sustainable with like a runoff valve with and I could find the design and share it with you guys. I just don't know where it is right offhand, but I know I have it in my files somewhere, so I'd be happy to share it. It shows you how to set up the pipes, it shows you how to set up like the runoff valve to where it literally, like if the pond or man-made pond overflows to where it like literally is on a decline to where it has its own runoff, and you could literally build it and leave it and populate it with whatever you wanted to. Also, there are some very thorough descriptions on best practices for using energetics to make a man-made pond, and it is it would be way fun to blow stuff up to make a pond, but the way that they do it is actually way more complex than I ever imagined. Are you familiar with demolition like that?
No,
Like
are you talking shaped charges? What are we talking about here?
So I'm talking about like the way that they blow them. Like if you've ever noticed, like rock quarries are kind of done like in steps, like almost like stairs.
Yes. Hmm.
And they actually do that on purpose so they can. Oh, thank you, Zach Carr. Our first super chat of the night. Thank you. I wasn't even focused. Rich should really grow DN. Um, Rich, I think that question's for you.
What's DN?
D's nuts! I knew he was going to say that. I knew. Watch. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh,
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. Dude, sorry. Hopefully I didn't take away from your joke. Zach Carr, thank you for the super chats, brother. I appreciate you.
so wait,
Um,
Zach was going to send me a design. He said, I got a new Squadron patch design for you.
got him. Nice. Okay, so I'll finally tell you my design that I thought of, and then I'll get back to the energetics thing because everyone should know how to blow shit up effectively. But of course, if you're going to mess with explosives, make sure you follow all federal, state, and local rules, laws, regulations, restrictions, and all that stuff. Okay, or just get your FEL so you don't have to worry about that stuff. That's your federal explosives license. And I already forgot.
Pond.
Yes, pond. I'm going to set pond over here for a second, and then I'm going to bring patch over here. So we talk about patch. I had a patch idea for you, and what I wanted to do was have a patch of like a cartoon plane that was like in decent shape, but kind of banged up. Like the wing was kind of broken, like a light dangling, and like a couple scratches on it, like cartoon bruises, like the hashtag bruises,
Yeah.
and just like kind of dinged up a little bit. And you in like a flight suit with a pilot's jacket over, just kind of leaning up against it with one hand, like waving like that, like a cartoon version of you, and
Right.
have it say like "Flying Rich" underneath. But oh, dude, it would have been like epic. Like I would have bought one like that. I went and bought my own semi-auto keycard shirt just because, like, dude. I mean, come on, like,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
know we haven't really like we've said this a few times, but after every month, we're going to take the designs out. They'll never be done again, and then we're going to have a new store every single month. We already have the next month store ready and like up. The designs are all ready and good to go. And there may be something that you guys would love to have on a shirt, but I can't give it away just yet. Here, I'll go back to just to show y'all. So we do have a pillow. The pillow is actually really dope. It's super high quality. Half of it is woodland camo. The other half is Ameriflosh because America. And the other stuff here, the hat has actually been way popular. Like I cannot believe the amount of hats and shirts that people are grabbing already. So you get the Kimlight kind of tilted, so it's kind of like boxed out, which is dope. And then you get glowies on the side there, so that's dope. And then of course we got the my favorite. If you guys remember seeing me in the wintertime, I always had a pullover hoodie and a Magpul beanie, and like that's like my like fall and winter outfit. So this I cannot wait to rock. I'll be getting the semi-auto keycard shirt. This what is it? Probably tomorrow, actually. So I'll be rocking that, and I'm probably gonna do like a stream with like yeah. So I'll do all that, and then of course we got the glowy shirt because we got to. Um, where is the glowy waifu pillow? Um, this one is a little too small for your liking. I mean, it's still good size. Like it is still a usable pillow. But what I was going to do is get 14 of them and hand them out to the homeless person army that I'm going to build when the shit hits the fan. Yeah, sorry, I got sidetracked. And Zach Carr, thank you again for the super chat, brother. Slightly looks like a blue DLD. Thank you.
Uh-oh. Feet in
Just
Liberty found my IG.
Feet in Liberty. That has to be Thirsty Cult. Walter,
Yes.
thank you for the order, brother. I appreciate you. Cool shirt though. Thank you. Blue dildos for everyone. Just got done dove hunting. Hell yeah, that's what's up, man. A dark Dakimakura would look good in James Reeves' bed. I have no idea what that is, but that's awesome. So let me get back to this really quickly. Energetics. So stuff that blows up. So interestingly enough, you were mentioning fertilizer, right? If you read the ingredients of most fertilizer, you'll find things like potassium nitrate. You'll find things like, and use this information, like this is only for educational purposes, okay?
You mean things that make plants grow, make other things grow fast?
Yeah, really
Very fast?
Like 6,000 meters per second fast. Well, maybe not that fast, like 4,800 meters per second. Still go boom. If you guys haven't seen the videos of me actually like making stuff go boom, so I know some of you guys are newer, just check it out. If it's a video that says 28 grams of X, 14 grams of X, new and improved design, yeah, go check them out. Those videos are dope. But anyway, so things like potassium nitrate, sulfur, and magnesium are typically used for fertilizer. Even ammonium nitrate is a popular fertilizer. And those are also usually binary type of energetics. So they're not necessarily energetic on their own. They have to be mixed with things, and potassium nitrate, bird crap. So if you take, it's saltpeter. If you take potassium nitrate and sulfur and magnesium, or another fuel like aluminum powder or oxidizer rather, something like that, and mix it together, usually you need here, just to make sure I'm not messing something up, I'll give you all the exact breakdown, because I always just started weighing it out and throwing it together. Oh, can't show that. It says Brandon Herrera Cell. Okay, so magnesium flash powder is a good amount to kind of start with, is 5 grams of magnesium, 5 grams of potassium nitrate, and 2 grams of sulfur. You can also get potassium nitrate in the form of stump remover at most like hardware stores. Like, I want 28 grams of X. Aluminum flash powder is very similar. It's 35% aluminum, 45% potassium nitrate, which is KNO3, and 20% sulfur. Zinc flash powder, this is very interesting. It is 80% zinc, 20% sulfur, and that gives you a green flash. Aluminum powder gives you a red flash. Magnesium powder gives you a white flash. Now, a lot of these, devices or fireworks that you see me blow up are done in a safe manner. They're done following all federal and state rules, laws, regulations, and restrictions. And they're also done with just like cardboard and tape and very basic things with a fuse. There are a lot of other ways that you can do this, but I want you guys to keep in mind that things like a flashbang use flash powder, and they typically use 5 grams, where these items that I had lit off in the past, or that someone lit off that I had a recording of, were 28 grams, like a full ounce. Okay, you can go pretty crazy with this stuff and still use it effectively. But so here's my point to saying all this. Okay, let's say you had, God bless you and God bless America. Let's say you had a pond to build. Okay, and this works for if you need to break through a rock wall. This works if you need to. If you need to remove earth at all, and you need to get through something, I want you to think of like a circle. Okay, there's a few different ways that people have done this, but essentially, so let's say that this is the area. So this little square that I drew is the area. Okay, now.
Can you change the layout of the screen so we can see what you're doing?
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to take that off. Did you throw a beanie on to pretend to be dark in the winter?
It's the AC's on and it's freaking coming down on me hard. It's cold.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. So what some people say is that that you should make an X. So there should be. Let's see if I can get it to focus on that. See how it's this is kind of a poor example, but and if anybody has more experience on this than me, please speak out. But the way I understand it is you have a circle, and inside the circle you have an X, okay? Let's forget about the X for a second, though, just to kind of like get the concept down. What this may be a little better. Yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, so what they're saying is that so you can for a literally like $20 or $30, you can get the electric fuses where you can actually set off something like flash powder or something similar. You can also use flash powder to set off other things that may be liable to go off due to a sympathetic detonation, which means that so I'll explain it like this. If you have
like a primer and a fire and a projectile.
It could be. So using that example, if Lululemon marketing, hold on, are we back to that? Oh, that's great. Have you considered our extensive line of men's activewear for your branded hoodies and sweatpants? Yes, I have. Lululemon, I'm going to tell you this. Stay out of my streams. I know you're pro-freedom, but we don't want you here. Even though I am wearing your pants right now. Literally right now. I love you, Joe Morris.
Is that really Lululemon?
Yeah, they've been after me for a while. I told you I decline all sponsorships. No, it's not really Lululemon. I can be bought. Lululemon, if you're interested, Flying Rich, Sport Brand, what's up, brother? Zip Gun,
hey,
Tannerite. There are Amfo. Yeah, Amfo is where it's at. If for true demolition, Amfo is where it's at. In a pinch, if you can't make ammonium nitrate and diesel, then and a high explosive number 10 blasting cap, what you want to do is use something like, let's say, flash powder and those electric fuses, which you can literally use push buttons and time the devices to go off. So to move Earth, what I thought of is I'll give an example like this. No, that won't sound good. So water can move Earth a great deal, okay? And water can be used to blast through a door. Okay, if there was a grenade tied to the corner of that door frame, and a string was tied to the ring, and it was set up to where when the door opened, it, of course, you'd have to like unbend the tabs, right? When the door opened, it and then boom, it went off. That'd be very destructive. However, if you did something as simple as getting a gallon Ziploc bag and you filled it up literally with a gallon of water, and then you duct taped it completely around the device, that would increase it would turn the water into a projectile. Okay, and water can cut through concrete, water can cut through metal, things like that. And this obviously is just a dummy grenade that I showed. I don't have anything illegal at all. Seriously, it was a dummy grenade. But so my point to this is that when there's if you just had an explosive sitting on the top of the ground, you're not going to move much earth. Okay, when you see demolitions, typically when they dig pretty
They bore
deeply
a hole.
exactly, they drop it down, they fill it up with foam, and when it's completely filled up, that's when they blow it. Because if you just blow it, it'll literally blow straight out of the hole and blow up, right? So what one could do, I'm not encouraging anyone to do this. I'm just saying that if one needed to make a pond or move earth, what they could do is they could set up devices like this, and you don't just like blow it. Let's say you dug 4 feet deep, 6 feet deep, 8 feet, 10 feet, however deep you wanted the pond. Okay, and then you started by initiate number one. So number one blows, and then it starts to move the earth. And then after it moves the earth, number two blows, and then it starts to move that earth. Because if the earth isn't loosened, then it's not going to move it as effectively. So if everything goes off at once, it's not going to be effective. If everything goes off and boom, 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 boom,
Yes,
boom,
yeah, I've seen
stages,
that when they do demolition. Yeah.
yes, and if you see it like slow-mo, usually what they do is they do one side of the X first, where it goes boom, 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 right? And then that earth moves as they, explode in stages, and then boom, 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 boom. And then around the outside, it literally goes boom, 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 and carries around until it completes the whole circle. And you've literally moved almost all of that earth just by doing it in stages. And that's why when you see like rock quarries where they're using explosives, you're seeing it in like actual steps, because that's like the way that they're moving earth. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. I am not like a professional boom boom or pow pow individual. Water saw, not quite as good as a thermal lance, but if you have the time, it will cut through almost anything. Yep, absolutely. Tyson's chicken breasts are cut with water jets. I believe that. You could cut that with a Play-Doh knife. Isn't it called geoformation? Possibly. That's above my my pay grade. Yeah, now I told you I would only keep you for an hour and a half, and we're pushing 2 hours. I apologize, but I wanted to hit that part because I found that fascinating, because it made sense that. So I talked to some guys that actually film. They do like drone footage of demolition, and they do it so like if something happens, they have footage, and they also do it because, well, it's frankly just badass to get drone footage of demolition explosives. And I learned that through them, and saw slow-mo footage, super crazy slow-mo footage of them moving earth, which was really dope. So Yeah. So, Flying Rich, you got anything else before we cut on out of here?
Just I don't know. I mean, we hit on a lot of topics, didn't go deep on a whole lot, but there's always stuff to talk about.
I know we didn't really hit too much on Afghanistan. I am really pissed. And when I came on the last couple streams and said that I literally will volunteer to go right now on an extraction to take Americans out of Afghanistan, I was not joking. I am dead ass serious. I actually contacted a guy that started Operation Extraction, that started Operation Pineapple Express, that started that whole 501c3 and all the craziness. And I literally volunteered my time to go on extractions. And he said right now they're not accepting volunteers at this point, and if anything changes, then he'll contact me. And I know that sounds crazy, but it pisses me off that Americans are there, scared, terrified, starving, and just waiting to die. So.
Yep. Oh, hey, I did pull this out. Did I ever show your audience this?
Is that your 40 millimeter suppressor? I'm just kidding. No.
No, it's actually, it's kind of a derivative. One of the cool things about 3D printing is somebody will have a design, and you can take their design and scale it up. But I have I have a couple of Raspberry Pi clusters, and this is just a Mac Pro clone case of. So I got a fan here.
Nice.
And I've got a 5-port switch, which allows me to put 4 Raspberry Pis in here and have one cable come out to a connector right here. And so central power, and it just, instead of having an eyesore of a whole bunch of Raspberry Pis and network gear, it neatens it up.
Dang. Sport Brand says, "Yo, Flying Rich is a wizard
at many things."
Somebody said, "Is that a fleshlight?"
Yes, it is, because that's the size I need.
And it's black. Is that a fleshlight extra chode? Is that a tube full of pie? That technically, yes, but that can be taken a few different ways. Time traveler, I knew it. A literal pie hole.
No, and I actually do run Pi-hole. There's an app called Pi-hole.
Really?
And what it does is you throw it on as your DNS provider on your local network. So you'll have a Raspberry Pi running Pi-hole or something. And what it does is it black holes all of the ads, the DNS to the ads. So you don't get the ads pulling down. So if you go to foxnews.com or something like that, CNN.com, any of those, and you know how 9/10, realistically here, I'm not Mr. Environmentalist. I'm not Al Gore, but I do believe in being responsible. Mm-hmm. And if we actually ethically looked at how the internet works, and that 9/10 of the electric used in delivering the bytes to your home are for frickin' ads that you don't want to see, everybody would start losing their damn minds.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of data that you use and pay for. Like I'm on I have a 1 terabyte cap each month. So
you mentioned a couple websites. Do people actually still go to those websites?
Well, I mean, if you do, depending on what your web surfing habit is, but even tech sites, there's a lot of ads on tech sites.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. I'm just being silly.
Ooh, Sport Brand is smart.
Uh-huh.
Algorithm.
Maybe that's where it came from. Blasted Al Gore.
I never liked rhubarb. My mom used to grow that.
Book. I don't even want to say that word because I know like that would be the end of the stream if I say that word. It
What
starts
word
with
is that?
boo. It starts with boo,
Oh, okay.
and
But
those
that
are
was originally a word that Howard Stern made up.
really.
Yeah,
That's how all this started.
as far as I know.
Oh, just your average goy. What's up, brother? Are you boys following all Noahide laws? Just saying, dude.
I'm not sure what
You
that
can.
means.
It's another rabbit hole that
Oh, yeah.
we could jump down. Um, dude, right now I'm literally watching the future of this country fall to shit with everything happening in Afghanistan and everything else. It is only a matter of time. I found, and thank you, Goy, I appreciate that. I found, I don't want to, well, it doesn't matter. So a lot of you know that I live in Long Island, Virginia, and it's at the very, very bottom
You
of the
live in
state.
Long Island, Virginia, and your wife's from Long Island?
So she's actually from Long Island, New York, but we live in Long Island, Virginia. It's at the very, very bottom of the state, right on the border. But I found that one of the airports that the majority of the first, I think, 5,000 people, yeah, I think it was 5,000 people were taken, were at the airport that is most local to my home.
Wow.
So that's surprising. Martin Kaminsky says, I think it's still monetized. I had to watch 2 commercials to get in. Sorry.
Dude. Well, thanks for watching.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you watching.
Sticking it out.
Um, Dark and Rich, my chocolate. That's good. That's good. Yeah, so just to hit it really quickly before we break off, I am pissed about everything going on in Afghanistan. I think a lot of it is linked to China, and I think a lot of what we're seeing is setting us up for a very dark future that is going to be filled with a lot of attacks that likely we and our children and grandchildren are going to have to deal with, because if these fools were still rocking AKs from the 70s and 80s, I mean, imagine how long they're going to be holding on to this stuff. Like, you can literally go to YouTube and find out how to run nods and how to run a PEC 15, and like, we just made the enemy that we silenced
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
way more capable than we
Yep.
ever could imagine.
Correct.
They can dress as U.S. soldiers with U.S. weapons and walk across the border. Damn. I mean, they could dress as the Afghan army wearing our stuff. They could. I mean, did you guys see the outposts that were completely abandoned with hundreds of AKs, hundreds of plate carriers, hundreds of grenades, like, it's unbelievable. But I also saw videos of like high-ranking soldiers in the Afghan army that were trying to strip the firearms away from their soldiers because they had to give them to the T-ban.
Oh,
And
jeez.
there are videos of the soldiers like clutching the buffer tube of their M4, backing up, and in their native language saying, "No, I will absolutely not get rid of this rifle." Like, literally, until my last breath in front of the T-band. Like, and I'm sure what happened after that was not pretty. And I'm sure eventually that'll be publicized as well. But I mean,
they'll
these
be
people,
getting a helicopter ride.
yeah, yeah. It's just crazy, man. Like that we are where we are right now. And all I can tell y'all is to prepare in every single way that that you can. I would be glad we were leaving Afghanistan, except it's clear we are purposefully equipping proxy T-Ban warriors for the next agenda/war. It pisses me off. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of it is, this has turned into a Grantham comment section. Yeah. If you've ever given someone a hug while concealed carrying a handgun and they felt it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and often forgotten, but not by me, M203 grenade launchers. Sorry. They hit the bases, then deploy out strategically. America was the reason that so many people joined them. Yeah, dude, I can't even think about it because I'm going to get pissed off, and I'm going to be like wondering, like, what if that was you? What if that was me? What if that was a family member that was literally over there, like a journalist?
Well, apparently there's like 24 like high school students from California there.
Really?
Yep.
Jesus.
So my worry, I'm not so worried about the helicopters that are over there, because typical and it's kind of unfortunate, you'd think it'd run the other way, but typical military aircraft require n number of hours of maintenance for every flight hour.
Yeah.
So even if they have functional helicopters, they're not going to run for long. And this was the same thing. So when we left Iran with, I don't know how many F-14s were over there, they kept trying to set up shell corporations to get F-14 parts to make them fly again. What happened is Grumman pulled equipment out of them. You know, when everybody exfiltrated out of Iran, the Grumman techs, contractors, whatever, over there pulled certain key items out of the F-14s to make them non-functional. Now, since then, apparently, last couple of years, Iran is flying the F-14s. So that brings up another problem. So even if you have the best equipment in the world, let's just say the F-14 is the best aircraft in the world, for argument's sake right now. It really doesn't even matter if you have the armaments, the equipment. You have to have a pilot with continuous flight hours in that vehicle, and nobody can afford that. That's why the United States of America has the best Air Force and the best pilots in the world, is you have to be rigorously training every week, every, X number of hours a month with that equipment in those scenarios to be effective at it. And nobody else can afford that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm just like saddened by all this, and I understand the logic of that. And I also see just how sad and terrifying it is to know that not only was it all not worth it, and I think a lot of us knew it wasn't worth it from the beginning, but I had a really good friend die in Afghanistan.
Oh.
And he, if you guys have seen the movie Lone Survivor, when the Chinook was shot down, he was in that Chinook that got hit with the RPG. His name was Sergeant Kip Jacoby. And at the very end, you'll see him in the credits, and you see him honored, and it's chilling to see that. But how many people lost someone that they cared about and loved in Afghanistan?
Sure.
And all these GWAT guys that
Or
are coming back that are fucked up, that are
or messed
blowing
up,
their
or
head
how
off.
many people left body parts over there? Is
Yeah,
so we talk about the number of dead quite often, but there's
yeah.
10 times that, like you said,
Injured.
that aren't right up here anymore, need a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fixing, because 60 of them are taking their lives a day, which is the scary freaking part of it. But yeah, there's a lot of people that have, either mental or physical injuries that, left body parts over there, which is I'm not sure how old your audience is. Did you ever see the original Star Trek series?
Yeah, I mean, I watched some of it, but I wasn't ever like
So
a super fan.
there's interesting, as like a young kid, I watched it, and I remember to this day, but I only understand some of the messages now. And one of them was Spock and Kirk beamed down to a planet, and these two planets have been warring forever, but they don't use explosives anymore. Their computers talk to each other and say, hey, this area's been blown up, but there's
Mm-hmm.
no physical damage. Just the people in that area have to report to disintegration chambers. So war is incredibly sterile, and I didn't realize how prophetic that is. When we can put a bomb through a window of a building, or we can take a Hellfire missile with a warhead that's basically a bunch of Ginsu knives and put it into a vehicle and chop up only the people in that vehicle, where there's no collateral damage at all. And we're talking a vehicle moving down the road. We have made war too sterile, because it's not that we take out the enemy, it's that we break the people. In other words, let's roll this back to very simple things. John Crump, me, and Dark are in a car, and we pick up somebody on the side of the road and give him a ride. That guy that we don't know, that we picked up on the side of the road, had a couple of grams of coke and pot or whatever. Let's just say he has a felony amount of controlled substances. We get pulled over, and the cop says, hey, mind if I search the car? And the stupidest words out of our mouths, like, yeah, I got nothing to hide, you can search my car. And that guy that we just picked up threw under the seat a felony amount of drugs, and it just happens to be my car. I own the car I was driving. The cop arrests me, and I go to jail on felony drug possession charges. Now, the lesson here is I'm responsible for the people in my car, my house, whatever. I need to vet them that they're good people. And that makes me want to make sure that I don't have people like that in my circle. And if war is incredibly collaterally damaging, you're going to want to make sure you don't have the T-band people in your town, your village, your apartment, your whatever it may be. Because if wherever they go, somebody drops a Moab on them. And my philosophy is you need not collateral damage, you need horrifically collateral damage. You need that everybody knows in whatever country it is that if there's a bad guy that we don't like, that the United States doesn't like, there's an excellent chance there's going to be a smoking hole for 5 miles around where that one individual was.
Yeah.
And we can't, if we fight wars, you got to look at that Star Trek. I'd have to look at the name, but it's incredibly prophetic that the way we fight war now is so sterile, so clean, that if if my neighbor, now my neighborhood's a bad example of that, but if you're an apartment building and the bomb goes through the window of the apartment next to you, and it has to be one of those Ginsu knives bombs that just chops up the people in that room next to you, you don't care. Well, so that guy, maybe him and his buddies were wearing explosive vests and they were planning, they did, or they're going to do, or two of them did and their next two are going to do it tomorrow against an American asset. I don't necessarily care. It's like the apartment next to me got shredded up. None of my family was hurt. Who cares? And that's the problem. Like, I don't know if you remember it's the USS Cole. Do you remember the incident of the USS Cole?
Mm-mm.
So the USS Cole was in the port of Oman, and the whole town was lining the dock. You know why the whole town was lining the dock? Because they knew what was going to happen next. And what happened next is a couple of guys in a rubber raft with a bunch of, some sort of IED rolled up real close next to the side of the USS Cole and blew a frickin' hole in the side of it and took out immediately, like, I believe 7 sailors.
Damn.
Now, if that was me, if I was the captain of that boat, you know what I would have done? I would have taken it out of the harbor, done whatever damage control, and I would have launched every munition I had on that town. Because they need to know, just like I need to keep my house, my car, my area clean of people that could cause trouble, because I don't want to have that trouble. A lesson needs to be learned that you cause damage to our assets. Holy, it's got to be, as they say, shock and awe.
Violence
and we're capable. They talk about the Israeli army being the world's most moral army. We need to be the world's most amoral army.
Yeah.
Because we need to make sure that everybody knows that you mess with us, it is going to be hell raining down upon you.
Well, I got to be honest. I think that a lot of foreign countries see us, even prior to this administration, as a joke, because they knew
absolutely
we had all this, bureaucratic red tape and all this BS that we had to cut through to even make an attack. And now, it's, how can anyone ever look at us the same until it comes to the front step of the American citizen? War, like you said, it's going to be, desensitized. It's going to be like video games, pressing buttons and, dropping warheads on foreheads from, thousands of miles away. And there's, it's not the same as like, a bunch of soldiers standing in line knowing that when the row in front of them gets plowed down with bullets and cannonballs, that they're next in line and they're next to likely get mortally wounded or, injured or whatever. I don't think that we will see another like all out, like crazy, bloody war until it's in neighborhoods.
I think one of the more important points to drive it home, what I've been talking about, is how did we win the war in Japan?
By stopping it before it started. Because there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass.
You drop 2 bombs on them. You drop one that devastates a city, and then you drop a second so they know there's more. And we could do that every day of the week. Well, we couldn't, but you let them know that, by the way, we flatten this city with 1 bomb. We can flatten the next city with 1 bomb. And there could be another after that. And that you need to break the will of the people to win a war. That's what you need to do. War has to be so incredibly bad that nobody wants to engage in it.
Yeah.
And it used to be that if you were an American citizen with an American passport, nobody wanted to F with you because they knew that somebody would come for you.
And now we're leaving our people behind.
Well, we got 90% out.
Oh, good number.
You know, 90% of the people that wanted to come out, we got out.
See, my question is 90% of what number? 90% of 200,000 people?
Right, yeah, 90% of...
It's unacceptable. I mean, we hold our service members to, no man being left behind, right? And I'm seeing the exact opposite of that. And I'm sure you guys have seen the videos of, people, specifically one battalion commander, I think it was, where he was basically just saying, like, I just want to see accountability of my senior leadership. And he got canned.
Yep.
Quick.
Yep. Yeah, and all you have to do is speak out against Biden, and you're off of Facebook.
Yep.
There's one woman who lost her son in that suicide bombing.
Mm-hmm.
She spoke out against Biden, boom, off Facebook, Instagram, all that, gone.
Yep. Totally silenced.
But
that's crazy, man. You can't speak out against the king.
And you know what? We're both bootlicking today because there's words we don't want to say on the live stream. We're conforming and complying with their tyrannical, thought police.
Yeah. Well, everyone has a line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever line, whatever line each individual has is completely up to them, right? And in your heart where that line is, what it is, and I wouldn't, want to force an individual to speak out of turn, to be put on the spot to say something stupid on a live stream just for perception, right? For the people that really are willing to stand up and likely die screaming with a rifle, they're probably not going to say shit. So I'll just leave that at that. But this is all terrible, embarrassing, disgusting. And sorry to end the stream on such a terrible note, y'all. Sorry. But Rich, where can we all find you?
YouTube.com/FlyingRich. There's also Flying Rich Vehicles on YouTube, and on the grams, I'm FlyingRich_official.
Awesome. I'm also going to be, just so all y'all know, I've been way underutilizing the DLD Instagram. Sorry. There's the DLD After Dark Instagram. Everyone in comments, please, regardless of your thoughts or beliefs, please be nice to each other. Rule number 1, be kind. So I would love if y'all could all go to the DLD After Dark Instagram page and follow it. I'm going to be doing close to a post a day and keeping everybody up to date on what's going on with everything, and probably also just sharing some really hilarious ass shit as often as possible. And I know I always say this, and this is what I always say, but I'll end on this. And before I go there, I'll say this. Go to jsdsupply.com, buy some gun shit, build some guns. You're going to need them. Use code DARK, save some money. I don't get shit for it. Go on Black Swan Tactical because you absolutely need a blue chem light on your carrier so we know not to canoe you in the face. And preferably the glow-in-the-dark ones so we can see you even in the night. That'll be your Let Me Live nightlight. Use code DARK, you get 10% off. And again, I don't get shit for that either. I'm just telling you so so you guys can benefit from it. If you guys ever need anything like, parts, if you need anything, like anything at all for builds, for anything, let me know. I do want to do a poll, and I want to have all y'all pick whether we're going to do a blue chem light AR, a blue chem light Glock, the Gay R15, or the Gay K47. I want to do a community build, and I'll do a poll. And I'll probably do, you know what? I'm going to do a poll this coming up Saturday, the day after tomorrow. I'm going to have Toxic Patch Co. It's going to be a super dope stream. I'll do a poll on that live stream, and I will keep the poll open the entire time. And then at the very end, I'll do a poll for what we're going to build, and whether that's like you guys sending some parts, if you're 3D printing, penis grip and sending it to me, like the Pin 15 that James Reeves put together. Oh, careful with that. If whatever you guys want to do, I would love to be able to build something and put it together and actually have something that I can keep forever that I can build with you guys. So go to JST Supply, use code DARK. Go to Black Swan Tactical, use code DARK. Go to Glowy's. What's the actual sport brand? Do me a favor and drop the link for the actual Glowy's paraphernalia. I think it's Glowy's PX, like Postal Exchange, .bigcartel.com. That's where you guys can get all the Glowy paraphernalia. We are going to cut it at some point. I don't know when, probably in the next 2 weeks or so, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then we'll launch the new store. So that semi-auto key card is only going to last for a while, and it may be being reviewed by Printful and Big Cartel because it's raising some eyebrows. So we'll see what happens there. They may take it off our list. So get yours before they steal it from us. I think that's it. That's all I got. So I'll end on this. Thank you. There you go. So that's where you get the Glowy's paraphernalia. So I'll end on this. Be kind. Be a good person. Live a life of care, contribution, compassion. Give to others. Contribute to others. Always remember that a hand that is open to give is also open to receive. And when you bless others, you'll be blessed in return. And just be good people. Be good people within your community. And also at the same time, practice violence respectfully, responsibly, and be disciplined, and be the most dangerous motherfucker that you possibly can be. And I love y'all. You want to drop some words of wisdom and name the stream?
All right. So the words of wisdom is the only thing that stops evil people is good people skilled in violence. Kind of similar to what you said.
True that.
Naming the stream. Let's make it Energetics in Dragon Fruit.
Nice. I like that. Let me see if I can name it now.
Hey, and you know what? I want to say a big thank you to you for having me on, because you're exposing me to a lot of good 2A people. I really have mad respect for your community, because you do have just a great interactive community that participates. And it is fun for me looking at my YouTube stats and seeing like, hey, my community and your community are
Yeah.
like a lot of the shared people. So that is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's really cool that like between us, John Crump, even 2AEDU, we have
Yep.
a lot of cross viewership, and
Yes.
we've actually, it may be cool to one day do like a huge Discord of like all of our communities like put together. Oh man, that'd be powerful. There may actually be that may be like a real idea there. I mean, that'd be as big as like as an army.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got a Discord going. Crumpy's got a Discord going.
Yeah. I will say that Discord is like the hole underneath the Discord is the hole in the ground underneath the outhouse. Okay, it is the they call it like Twitter the bathroom stall of the internet. Um, Discord is similar. So um, that's it. I'll end it on that, guys. Love y'all. Thank
Oh
you for
crap!
hanging
It's
out.
past my bedtime.
Yeah, I know, right? Plug in your CPAP machine and get some sleep.
Yep.
All right, brother. Thank you for coming on, man. Yo, go sub to Flying Rich.
Thanks, man.
See you guys.